For years, I thrived in the high-pressure business world, but the workaholic life finally caught up with me. I was 35, very overweight, in chronic pain with severe mobility issues, terrible diet, no exercise. My health was a complete wreck. Then I went to a gentle yoga class and felt truly relaxed. The stress just melted away. I went from a size 18 to a size 8. I stopped getting sick. Pain disappeared. I learned to open my heart and I felt happy for the first time in years. So I said goodbye to the business world and started teaching. Yoga doesn't have to be strenuous. The easiest movements can trigger major release of chronic symptoms, no matter your age.
Healing Yoga. Yoga for real people with real problems.
Hello, I'm Deborah Devine, and welcome to Healing Yoga. Yoga for real people with real problems. And yes, that was me in the cartoon. I was in terrible shape before learning about gentle yoga, and one of my biggest problems was getting sick all the time. My immune system was shot because of stress, lack of sleep, bad diet. Good digestion is a key to a strong immune system, and this is why Zoomers can become susceptible to illness. Our digestive systems are slowing down, and we can develop bacterial imbalances in our intestinal flora. This makes it hard to fight off the flu and colds. I've chosen a restorative yoga practice that will strengthen your immune system, and you don't have to wait until you're in tip-top health before trying it out. Anyone can do it. We start with an easy warm-up, releasing tension in the belly organs, and then we ramp up the digestive fires and wring out toxins, freeing up our metabolisms to function properly. After that, we cool down and bring fresh breath to this area. The poses are really easy, and you might even wonder if they're doing anything. But believe me, doing the whole series, or if you're busy just doing one or two, can totally change your health. Let's start the healing. I'd like to introduce you to my fellow yogis, Anne and Pauline, and both of them are looking forward to boosting their immune system. We're going to begin by coming down into a position where we're lying on our back. This is a warm-up where we're going to be relaxing everything in the belly. So we come down, the knees are bent, the feet are about hip-width apart, maybe a little bit wider, heels out, toes in, arms are resting at your sides, leaving a little bit of room behind or beside the ribs so that they can open out and up on the in-breaths without any obstruction. Next time an out-breath comes along, we'll let the knees come over to the right and the head will come over to the left. And an in-breath comes, everything comes back up to center. Then an out-breath comes, knees go to the opposite side, and the head moves in the opposite direction. And then the in-breath takes us back to center, and we continue, slowing down the breaths, slowing down the movements, allowing the back, all of the muscles of the back to relax and let go. There are muscles on the sides of the spine, and they're letting go. There are muscles on the front of the spine, and they're also beginning to let go. We let the out-breath be complete, and we feel the belly fall towards the front spine, maybe pausing for just a moment or two. And then we're going to become a little bit more active in this pose. We're going to go to the inner left foot and press down. We're going to energize the whole left leg, energize the left glute, and press the left hip up away from the floor at the same time that we're pressing down into the shoulder blades. We take 3 long, slow, smooth, and complete in and out breaths, moving the hip away from the bottom of the ribs, lengthening those muscles that start on the front of the low back where the ribs are, moving down into the pelvic bowl, coming out onto the front of the thigh, and the connective tissue carries on all the way down to the knee. At the end of the third breath cycle, we come back to center. Head comes back to center. We just rock back and forth a few times. Notice the difference between the right and the left sides. Maybe there's a sense of more openness on that left side we just worked. Now we're going to drop the knees over to the left. And then we take the hands to the back of the head. We lengthen the back of the neck, and we begin to turn the head in the opposite direction of the knees, placing the head down very softly and just letting the arms come out to a comfortable place. Then we just surrender. Allow gravity to do what it does. Notice what parts of yourself are resisting. This is the most powerful force known. It's worked for 4 billion years, 5 billion years, however long it's been around. And there are all these bits of us that are resisting and holding on.
See if you can bring the breath in there, breathing in light and spaciousness, and then exhaling tension, exhaling, holding, dropping it down into the ground, and see if there's a release that happens. Most of our immune function resides in the guts. So these gentle movements are starting to relax all of the tissues, all of the lymphatic tissue, all of the muscles, all of the organs here, the endocrine system, and we're starting to let go, creating space. Please continue to enjoy this pose, and when we come back, we're going to be working with the nasal cavity and preventing colds.
Healing Yoga. Yoga for real people with real problems.
Hi, my name is Anne, and I've had probably some experiences with compromised immune issues for the past few years. And it presented itself mostly with fatigue, heavy fatigue, and that impacted my life in the sense that I couldn't do the things I always enjoyed. My sense of balance was off too, which really was very worrisome, and we weren't sure what that was. And so that was the thing that brought me to yoga, to try to address some of my concerns that I had around my health and to get feeling more fit and to feel a better sense of balance in my life.
Welcome back. We've been working with the immune system in this practice. One way that's very effective to prevent colds is to irrigate the nasal passages. There are a lot of pathogens that find their way up into the nasal passages. The sinus cavity is enormous, and there are all kinds of little folds in there. And sometimes, because we're in environments that are very dry, some small cracks can be created inside the sinuses. So we just take some salt water and we, without swallowing, spitting it out, and then taking a Kleenex, releasing all of that water that we've just brought in. And it may not be very apparent that a lot of stuff is coming out right now, but just wait for another 10 minutes and you'll probably need some more Kleenex. And then we wrap up by just putting a little bit of oil. This is a special nasal oil that you can buy at a health food store, but olive oil or sesame oil, any kind of oil will work as long as you enjoy the smell. We just dip that into the nostrils to moisten things up, and that is an instant cold preventer. Now we're going to get into a special breathing practice that's going to help us with our immune system even more. It's called Kapalabhati. And we sit up on our bolster, and we're going to need some Kleenex. Pauline? And these are fast out snorts. So let me demonstrate first. Watch the belly. So we're getting deep into the abdominal area. We're moving the belly back. We're moving the front of the belly back towards the front spine. That is creating this wonderful rush of air out of the lungs, out of the nostrils. So these out snorts, but one a second or one every half second. All right? Feel yourself grounding, sitting on your sit bones, lifting the spine, opening the heart, and then take your Kleenex, bring it up close to your nostrils. Take a nice, long, slow, smooth in-breath, a nice, long, slow, smooth out-breath, and then another in-breath comes along, and then in-breath, and then release. And you can do 2 or 3 or 4 rounds of that and just start to feel that wonderful sense of things moving in the sinuses. Now, this is called the skull shining breath. So after you do several practices, you are going to really feel completely clear. You're going to feel very open in the mind. You're going to feel very sharp and very bright. Then we can come into a very nice calming breath that is going to be wonderful on the nervous system. It's called Ujjayi, the victorious breath. And we're basically taking the back of the throat and we're making a little bit of a constriction. So it's sort of the same idea as you would be fogging up a mirror in the bathroom, except that the mouth is closed and this is happening through the nostrils. And you're not just exhaling with this constriction, you're also inhaling with this constriction. The lips are touching The tongue is resting down at the bottom of the palate, and there's a place at the back of the throat, and there's just a very slight constriction there, a very soft sound. The ujjayi is a wonderful breath to use to protect and boost the immune system. It's a bit of a heating breath. And this is creating a less friendly environment for those pathogens to make a home. We're also amplifying and concentrating prana, life force, and vitality when we use that very slight constriction at the back of the throat. So all of the cells of the body are ingesting more life force and more vitality, which results in a wonderful boost of the immune system. Please continue to enjoy these ujjayi breaths, and we'll be back in a few moments to keep boosting our immune system with our gentle practice.
Healing Yoga. Yoga for real people with real problems.
So I've been just past my 1-year anniversary with the yoga studio, and I go 3 times a week, and it's been marvelous. It's put a spring back in my step, and I've lost a lot of weight. I've really found my balance again, and the instructors there have been wonderful. And so I felt that I have reclaimed some of my, let's say, my youthful joy. How was that?
Welcome back. Today's practice is focused on the immune system. Now we're going to get deeper into the belly organ. So let's come down into Apanasana. On the back, knees bent. And then we'll take an in-breath and let the arms come up and over. And exhale, knee comes in, and we hold on to the knee. Inhaling, maybe the leg comes long if that feels good. And then we exhale, the opposite knee comes in. Holding for just a moment. And then an inhalation comes, stretching out. Now, let's come back and forth using the breath as the catalyst for movement here. We're getting deep into the belly organs, moving things in the lower intestine, in the large intestine. This is where we have a lot of bacteria, good bacteria, that is helping us stay healthy, helping us fight off infections. And what can happen over the course of time, especially for Zoomers, we're working with doctors who are prescribing antibiotics to help us get over our illnesses. And then that may have an effect of creating an imbalance in our large intestine. So these movements are starting to get the peristaltic action happening. So things are starting to move in the intestines. And we're also revving up the fires of the third chakra, the digestive fires in the belly. Over time, we can also be eating foods that are high in sugar and lots of processed ingredients, and that can have an effect of clogging up the large intestine. So Apanasana is a wonderful way to get things moving and clear things out. In addition to the fact that we're getting a wonderful stretch of some of our hip muscles, some of our back muscles. Fantastic. All right, let's bend the knees and we'll roll over. Take a rest here. And then we'll take the top arm hand, we'll press it down, come up on the opposite elbow and forearm. We'll use our upper body strength to come up. Now we're going to be moving into a supine twist. I'm going to work with Anne. And Anne, you've been working with a compromised immune system for a while. And what do you enjoy about this supine twist?
I think it's such a stretch that it really feels that I'm really stretching all my lung capacity and my sides, and that I enjoy that. I really
Fantastic.
feel, and when it's finished, you feel, like it's a zinger.
Love it. Now we begin by taking the hands on either side of the bolster. And at home, you can just take a blanket and fold up the blanket. You can roll up the blanket. We take a long, slow, smooth in breath and lengthen the front of the spine. And then a long, slow, smooth out breath. We come down, rotating in. Now the legs can be wider apart. They can be closer together. The arms can be resting maybe further away from the ribs. And then we take a couple of long, slow, smooth, and complete in and out breaths and find out how we feel in this twist. Maybe you'd like to take the bottom hip and move it back away from the short edge of the bolster or the blanket or the towel or whatever you're using for support. And that will give the low back a little bit more space. By giving the low back a little bit more space, we're also giving the belly a little bit more space as well. So the effect here is that we're wringing everything out. The belly organs are being wrung out. The diaphragm is being wrung out. So we're getting a lot of stress and tension out. Stress is a huge factor in immune problems. And this kind of a pose is wonderful to help relax and calm the mind, calm the heart, and calm the breath. So, of course, we'll want to work the opposite side as well to wring the dishcloth out. Wring it out one way and then we wring it out the other way. But right now, we're going to move into another pose, Shalabhasana, the locust pose. So you can take your hands, press them down into the ground, press your way up using your upper body strength, unravel, feel this wonderful sense of all this fresh blood and fresh prana, fresh oxygen penetrating all of your belly organs, alkalizing your whole system. Just take a couple of moments here, enjoying this. And then we'll remove the bolster. We'll come down onto the belly. And there are a couple of things going on here. This is the locust pose. We're going to take the upper leg bones and we'll rotate them inwardly. So the knees are pointing in towards the middle of the mat and the toes are pointing in towards the middle of the mat. And we're creating a little bit more space in the SI joints here. Now we're going to take the arms and we'll just bring them down to the sides. The palms are facing inside on the outer part of the thigh. Then we go to the pubic bone and the hip points and we press down. We're grounding here. We go to the top of the hamstrings where they attach onto the sit bones and we press down. And then we energize the whole back line of the body, and on the next in-breath, we rise up on the top part of the body, rise up on the bottom part of the body, taking the upper arm bones back, opening the heart, long, slow, smooth in-breaths, long, slow, smooth, and complete out-breaths, maybe lengthening the back of the neck, maybe taking your chin down a little bit, pointing your chin down towards your jugular notch, yes, and lengthening the back of the neck. Beautiful. Long, slow, smooth, and complete in and out breaths, and then we release and we come down. The arms come up and we rest the forehead on the arms, or rest the forehead on the forearms. The back line of the body is also holding on to an enormous amount of tension, and Shalabhasana can help to remove that tension. Please continue to enjoy this restful pose with your forehead resting on your forearms, and we'll be back in a few moments for our cool down.
Healing Yoga. Yoga for real people with real problems.
Oil of oregano is a natural way to radically boost the immune system and aid in digestion. Consistent sleep of 8 to 9 hours every night is also very helpful.
Welcome back. We've been working with the immune system. Today, we've cleaned out our sinuses. We have been moving out toxins from the large intestine. We've been compressing the belly, wringing the belly out, and bringing fresh prana and fresh oxygen into our system, making it a little bit more of an alkaline environment, less friendly territory for pathogens. And now we're going to be moving into Supta Baddha Konasana for our cool down, reclining goddess pose. So I'm going to help Pauline get into the pose here. We've got a bolster or a rolled up blanket that's going to be supporting the spine. And maybe we'll just get you to scooch your hips over here, Pauline, and I'll take this up. We like to have the low back supported. That's really important. You can use rolled up blankets or towels, but as long as your low back is supported, that's the important part. If you want to take your hands to your sides and support your body weight with your arms, pressing your arms down. Yeah. And then coming back, letting the head rest. The back of the neck, the back of the head resting, and the shoulders are just resting off below that. We bend the knees one at a time, and we've got these other rolled up blankets that are going to be supporting the knees. And Pauline, maybe you'd like to bring the soles of your feet together and let your knees come apart. So we've got this wonderful situation where the spine is being supported and the heart is open. We've got the legs relaxed. The pelvis is resting very gently on the floor. And we're starting to create this wonderful sense of relaxation. We take a long, slow, smooth in breath and and fill up the lungs, moving the side ribs out and up, and then a long, slow, smooth, and complete out breath, grounding. Look at those places where you feel heavy, the hips, the shoulders, the back of the neck. And just imagine yourself getting wider and flatter with every breath cycle. Relaxing is one of the most important and transformative practices you can give yourself to create better immune function. This is a wonderful way to bring a sense of freshness and aliveness into the immune system. Please continue to enjoy this pose, or you can just roll over, remove all of the supports out from underneath your back, and you can just lay down in Shavasana Tranquility Pose and enjoy this for maybe 10 or 15 more minutes. Thank you so much for joining us, and we'll see you again on Healing Yoga. I'm Deborah Devine.